Hi guys, my name is Vanessa. Welcome to our YouTube channel. I've been contemplating on doing a YouTube channel for some time already. I know nothing about editing. I know nothing about recording. I don't even know which part of the camera I should be looking at, in all honesty. So I finally decided to do a YouTube channel. There's a few reasons why we're doing this today. One, if you guys don't know, I have a little boy by the name of Alexander who was born with Spina Bifida, myelomeniingocele, which is the most severe form of Spina Bifida. And I want to raise awareness. I want others out there to know, that it's okay to have Spina Bifida. There is going to be quality of life. Don't let doctors tell you otherwise. I wish that while I was pregnant, I had, videos where I can look at what it's going to be like and what could be down the pipeline, and, just giving me what reality really is, not the book information that the doctors throw at you, which is very outdated. Don't believe any of that stuff they tell you. I know that they always will give you the worst case scenario, but I promise they're worth it. Everything will be okay. Keep your faith and everything's going to be fine. And then another reason for this channel is, because I want Alex to feel supported. I want Alex that if he ever has a day where he's feeling a little down, I want him to look back at this and be like, you know what? I've done so well in life. I've overcame so many obstacles. I've already kicked ass. So, I'm not going to let something or somebody tell me otherwise. And when I was pregnant, at about 16 weeks pregnant, my OB called me exactly on 7/20 of 2017. Sorry, this is going to be like a little timeline video from the beginning of when I was pregnant to year to date, which is Alex is currently 20 months 20 months old. So my OB called me on 7/20 of 2017 letting me know that my AFP was a little high. She told me, don't worry, I just need you to rule this out and go to a high-risk doctor. Of course I worried. My family came over, they talked to me, they told me everything was going to be okay, not to worry. And of course, where do I go to? I go to Google. I search what that means, and I shouldn't have done that, but I think that we all tend to do that. So I was seen by the high-risk doctor on 7/25/2017. His name was Dr. Yang. He confirmed that my fetus, Alex, had Spina Bifida. So we had a few options in regards to how we wanted to move forward. He broke it down to me. He told me what Alex's life was going to be like. Again, no quality of life. He wasn't going to be able to walk. He was going to be brain dead. He was going to have bowel and bladder issues. He was going to be paralyzed. So they kind of give you the worst case scenario. Sorry guys. They kind of give you the worst case scenario, and I get it. They want to prepare you in a sense, but it also scared the crap out of me. I literally went home and I cried. I cried myself to sleep every single day because I was worried. You want the best for your kid. You want the best for your baby. You don't want your baby to come to this world with difficulties. People are already cruel nowadays, and with a disability, I'm sure people are nastier. And it just, it was hurtful. It definitely, almost depressed me. I would cry. I would cry so much. And I wish, if I knew everything that Alex was going to go through, I wouldn't have cried, you guys. I promise you that Alex is perfect, and I would have definitely taken a different avenue if I would have known. I wish I wouldn't have worried so much during my pregnancy, and I actually wished I would have enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I didn't, because I listened to the doctors, and that's my fault. So with that being said, after going to work, I would go to work, and I literally would go to the 3rd floor and cry. I would cry in the bathroom. I would go in my lunch break and cry in the car. I just felt like that was the only way to cope with it. So with that being said, so after that, being diagnosed, we did go to Lurie's Children's Hospital and we met the team. And when I say I met the team, is I met the team of doctors that were going to be treating Alex. There was a lot of them. A lot. And they threw a lot of information, a lot of informative information to me. You know, they actually even gave me a contact to a mom who had who has a little girl with spina bifida. The mom's name is Becky and the little girl's name is Aggie. And Becky was amazing all the way through. You know, she got with me and we talked it through, and she told me that everything was gonna be okay. She shared pictures of her daughter with me. If I had any questions, any doubts, if I needed anybody's contact information, she was always there to kind of, you know, guide me through and at least give me an answer. And you know, Becky was very instrumental through my pregnancy. Definitely appreciate all your help, Becky. So when Alex was born, he was born on New Year's Day of 2018, and I literally got to hold him for 5 minutes, and then I was at Prentice and he was transferred to Lurie's Children's Hospital, and he was transferred through a bridge and he was taken to the NICU. I was not able to see Alex again until I got myself, you know, off of all the medications and everything that they kind of give you, and the epidural and all that stuff. So I did have Alex vaginal, and some doctors don't let you have your kids vaginal with spina bifida, and I guess it really depends on the doctor, but everything was okay with the delivery. So they took Alex and I was able to see him probably a few hours later, and I was taken by my boyfriend in a wheelchair. So we got to spend some time with Alex. He was sitting, I'm sorry, I apologize. He was facing down the whole time because of the defect of his spine. After that, the second day, 1-2, his next day of birth, the following day, he was taken into surgery. It was about 7 a.m. It was very early. The whole team was there. And I'm sorry for the glare, guys, but that's the team. And they did an amazing job. They communicated through the whole surgery with me. Of course I was sad. Of course I cried. My little guy, who was just a day old, was gonna have surgery. It was very, very difficult, but we managed. And this is kind of what his back looked like. If I could find the picture, this is what his back looked like. Okay, that was his back, and that was his defect of the spina bifida. So those are the nerves that were impacted, and his defect was larger than what they actually thought it was going to be. They did get with the plastic surgeon and he made it look beautiful. They did an awesome job, and here was how it looked after. That was after surgery. They did a great job. Alex had to be in his back for about 2.5 to 3 weeks. We were to make sure that, you know, it stayed clean, make sure we put dressings, make sure that no feces got in there. Just keep an eye on it for any like red marks, any concerns like that they thought. But it heals very well to this day. It looks amazing. So after that, then I was able to carry him for the first time, again facing down. I'm sorry, not the first time, the second time. And that's kind of how I was able to carry him, facing down. That was like day 5 of him being born and after surgery. And then after that, we just kind of took it day by day. unfortunately, there was a point where Alex's oxygen continued to drop. So he continued to desat. So they ended up putting him on an oxygen tube. And this is kind of what it looked like. So he was placed on an oxygen tube because he continued to desat. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but Alex there has club feet. So club feet, it is something that some kids with spina bifida are born. Some with one, some with two, and some with none. Alex was born with bilateral club feet. So with that being said, Alex was, because of the desat, they ended up doing a sleep study just to kind of find out what exactly was going on and why. Unfortunately, after his desatting, he also needed to be put on a feeding tube because he was aspirating. So that's Alex, and he was on a feeding tube, and he was also on an oxygen tube. Before we left the hospital, thankfully we were able to get him off the feeding tube. He did have to go home on oxygen. The machine was the most annoying thing ever. It was so wrong at all times. It would go off at all times. We finally were able to get off the oxygen. I think a lot of it they think had to do with the weather. He was born, it was cold out. So we kept him on the oxygen till about springtime, till about June. So with Alex, after that we were able to go home on the 19th. So we were in the hospital for 19 days, about 3 weeks. We did not leave Alex one day. We literally slept in that room. Dad slept on the couch and I would sleep on the chair, and then we would switch off. They would do their morning rounds at about 5 in the morning. We wanted to make sure we were there. A family would come down and bring us food, and they were very supportive. They were great about being there for us at all times. So that's kind of the hospital piece with Alex. After that, we were seen at clinic every Tuesday. So clinic is where all his doctors, all his care, we would go to the clinic, and then they would do like testing. They would do scans, and then for the head, because in spina bifida about 80 to 90% of the kids have hydrocephalus. Alex has hydrocephalus. However, he doesn't need a shunt, and that's very rare. He doesn't need a shunt. So with that being said, we would go every week. We would get they would measure his head, make sure there wasn't a large growth in his head and his brain, make sure they would do scans. They would do ultrasounds in his head as well, and just to make sure that, you know, he didn't have hydrocephalus. And he does have it, but again, it's very minimal, not where he needs to get shunted. So I would literally, every appointment, I would pray and say, please, not brain surgery, please, I don't want my son to have another surgery. You know, and thankfully his neurosurgeon, once he hit about a year mark, she said, you know what, Vanessa, I think Alex is out of the woods. I don't think he'll ever need a shunt. You know, there's a small chance that maybe he will in the future. But I highly doubt it. He's been on track with his growth chart. His brain and his head circumference has remained where it should be. So that to me was a huge blessing. I was very happy with that. You know, until this day, I'm very thankful that he does not need a shunt. After that, we needed another surgery for his club feet. Again, if you guys remember, Alex had bilateral club feet. So this was Alex before he got casted, and then this was Alex after. So we did the serial casting. So serial casting lasted about I think 6 to 7 weeks. We'd go every week to get the cast changed so that there would be correction to his feet at all times. After that, his feet looked good. It looked great. However, after that, we needed to get surgery. So this was Alex before surgery. He was very unhappy because he was unable to eat. He had surgery downtown for his tendon Achilles lengthening. Again, that was for his feet. Because the back of his foot didn't really have like that little back opening here. So he needed that for that correction. So we did that, and then on around June, he had the sleep study. So that was the sleep study. And we finally were able to get him off the oxygen. They thought that he was fine throughout the sleep study and he was not desatting in his oxygen. So they finally took him off the oxygen. We finally got rid of that annoying machine. It was terrible. So after that, surgery and the sleep study, we didn't have to have surgery until most recently, which was July 31st of 2019. He had surgery for the tendon Achilles lengthening and a posterior release. This was for sure a very difficult surgery on us. One, because he had a restriction of not being able to bear any weight on his feet, so he can't stand right now. So currently Alex has occupational therapy and physical therapy, but with the restriction of no standing. He has that through early intervention. They come every week, twice a week, 1 OT and 1 PT, and they kind of work on, you know, gross motor skills, large and then small, and then they also work on, you know, the trunk work and standing and, you know, everything that Alex kind of needs a little bit more help on. They help me with getting anything like a stander. He recently got a stander, so this is what we put him on the stander at least twice a day so he can strengthen those sorry for the glare, guys, strengthen those legs up. And this is another picture of him in a stander. So we try to put him on as much as possible. If you see there, he has AFOs. Those AFOs are braces, which is support for his feet. So he had the surgery, like I said, on 7/31. It was a very, sorry guys, I'm looking for a picture. It was a very difficult surgery for us this go around. It's just recovery was difficult. The stairs were difficult. The questions were difficult. You know, it was just a difficult surgery overall. This was Alex and I before surgery. And then this was Alex after surgery. So he had drains in his feet to kind of drain out the blood. And then we had to stay there for one night, and then we were able to go home. This is kind of what he went home on. It was hard because he couldn't, he wasn't able to, you know, bear any weight. And then he actually moved, those casts moved a few times. That's because Alex army crawls, and when he army crawls, he made those, you know, he moved out of them. So we had to go downtown Chicago a few times so that he can get recasted, and he finally got these cast on, and these finally stayed on. We had to do 6 weeks of recovery. We have to go back on 9/10, which is September 10th. This upcoming Tuesday we go. He does have screws on his bottom of his feet, so we're gonna go get those removed, and then he's gonna get molded for new AFOs or new braces, so that he can resume his therapies. So that's kind of what we've been through these last 20 months since Alex has been born. I swear it's not terrible. I swear it's worth it all. He's worth it all. He's such an amazing, smart baby. I love him to death. So Alex has a few diagnoses on his chart that I kind of want to share with you. So he does have a neurogenic bladder. which means lack of bladder. So with that being said, with spina bifida, nerves are impacted. When the nerves are impacted, then he pretty much eventually, they think that he will need to get catheterized. Right now we don't need to cath him. We will go back to urology in January, and they do they do kidney scans, and then they do a bladder ultrasound, and then they do a urodynamics testing. So we'll know if we need to get cath. I pray to God that we don't, but if that comes our way, we will get through it like we've gone through everything else. He has hip dysphagia, so his socket doesn't fully cover the ball portion of his upper thigh, so it's not set correctly. Like I said, minimal hydrocephalus. He has weakness of both lower extremities. Alex has never moved his toes. Alex has never moved his feet. He doesn't have sensation from the knee down, for sure, because when I grab him and touch him there, he doesn't respond to it. I think he might have sensation from the knee up. We do testing and stuff like that, but nothing is confirmed right now as to where he has sensation. Again, spina bifida lumbar region. He has club feet. Again, those were corrected. Most recently, he had another surgery. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just know that there's no two spina bifida children or adults who have or are the same. Everybody's severity is different. Please don't get discouraged, guys. Everything's gonna be okay. They're worth it, I promise. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys can like, subscribe, comment. More videos to come. For sure, next time Alex will be in it. Bye, guys.